Bear with me. It's another day of hitting of record and another day of realising that I didn't have my mic on. So profesh. Right. Hello everyone. Kim, the Eco Tree, here. Hello, how are you doing? So since I've started making these videos, I've had a few people ask me about my own shop, which has been closed for over a year, but we'll come back to that. And I thought it would be an idea to put together a video and just tell you guys a little bit about my backstory, how I got started with Etsy, why it's been closed, and when it's going to reopen, and my plans going forward. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, grab one if you like tea, and we shall have a natter. Well, we won't, I'll just talk to you, but you can listen. Okay, so start at the beginning. Etsy started in 2005 and it came on my radar 2 years later in 2007, and I thought, I like the sound of this. I'd been sewing, I like making things, but there's only so many things that you can make. So I thought, let's see if other people like my stuff. So I created a shop and I made some stuff and I stuck it on and nobody bought anything. Even then, when it was easy to be found and seen and all the rest of it on Etsy, it still took me 6 months to make my first sale. So if you just recently created a new shop and you're still waiting for that first sale, take heart. It does take a little bit of time to get the ball rolling, but once it is rolling, it's a lot easier, trust me. So yes, 2007, I've started up my Etsy shop and it's a hobby. I chuck things on there as and when I have them. Sometimes I don't have anything. It was just a hobby and something that I had. Fast forward 6 years to 2000 and I've got some dates written down. 2013. My daughter is a year old and I decide, you know what? I'm going to do this seriously. Etsy. So with my shop, I decided to really go all in. I signed up as self-employed with our tax authority here in the UK, which is HMRC, so that I could submit my taxes each year, and started making things properly and listing consistently and actually trying to sell my items. And it still took a little bit of time to get the rhythm going and to make my first sale, which I think came a month or 2 months after really going all in. Although I say going all in, as my daughter was a baby, I was literally working 1 hour each day while she napped. So that was what my all in looked like. And 4 years after starting the business properly, we moved from where we were living in England back here to Wales, which is where I'm from originally. I knew that I could make enough to pay our rent with the shop alone. I had built it up to that point, and I wanted to see how far I could take it if I dedicated all of my time to it. And I never looked back. 2017 was like the best Etsy has ever been for me. This was before the big tsunami of changes, policy changes hadn't quite hit Etsy at that point. But back then I was making festival gear. So if you think of like sequin robes and very bright in your face clothing for things like music festivals and parties and stuff like that. And it was going amazingly. People loved it, but I was loving it a little less. I couldn't shake the thought that once somebody had worn an item of mine, they weren't going to keep it, and they probably wouldn't even donate it to a charity shop. I had this sneaky suspicion that my items were single use and then they were getting binned. I hated that. I'd created this hamster wheel for myself and I couldn't get off. I couldn't stop making these items because they were literally paying my bills. They were literally paying my rent. And if I stopped, I wouldn't have an income. But at the same time, I didn't want to be contributing to fast fashion as I saw it, and just this mound of clothes getting thrown out every single day. And that's when the tsunami of policy changes happened on Etsy, which it didn't go down well. And my revenue went. There was a time where it was like, oh, okay, what do we do? But on the flip side, that took the hamster wheel that I had created and threw it to one side. And all of a sudden I had more time to move in a different direction. And that's what I did. So over the next 2 years, I used up all of the supplies that I already had, sold on stock that I had gradually, and I started moving into a more sustainable niche. In 2019, I sold my last festival robe and rebranded the shop. So it was the Eco Tree shop as we now know it. Starting more or less from scratch again, and I was just building up my momentum, and then 2020 happened, and I don't need to say anything more on that. So that's the history of the shop in a nutshell. Why did I close the shop? Simply put, pandemic hit. All of a sudden, I'm at home all the time with my daughter because her school has closed, and they're also doing schoolwork from home now, which if you know, you know. Also, we live way out in the country, so having to go to the post office would have been a 22-mile round trip. And I was also a little bit concerned about virus spread and how safe it was to even be sending stuff out and receiving supplies in. So I made the decision to just close the shop because I thought it would be for a month or two max. Oh boy, no. Which brings us to today. So, the shop. When is it reopening? Either on June the 1st or June the 20th. I haven't made up my mind as to the exact date. The reason why I was thinking June the 20th, one, it gives me a little bit more time to get everything ready, and also because June the 20th is the summer solstice, and the idea of reopening my shop on such a positive day, you know, when the longest day of the year, when we have, well, I'm thinking of a nice sunshiny day, but here in the UK it's probably going to be pouring with rain, let's be honest. Before the pandemic mess hit, I was struggling to make Etsy my main income. So I was having to constantly try and find the things that people wanted and make enough of them and sell enough of them every single month to pay the bills. You can imagine what that does for creativity. It just picks it up, screws it into a ball and hurls it at the wall and then jumps on it a little bit and then sets fire to the whole thing. It's not good. So I'm going back to my roots. Back when I first started the shop, I made bags primarily. And I have been dipping in and out with them over the course of years. This is where I start nerding out a little bit. I've got in my mind what I want to do. I always love creating things influenced by nature and the wildlife that I see around me. So it's going to be with that in mind. So I'm going to be buying in natural fabric, dyeing them with my plants, embroidering them with my designs, and then making them into bags and selling. And I am really excited about that idea. I might sneak a few things in, and I might still keep a range of the stuff that I had last year, like the reusable coffee filters, some grocery bags and vegetable bags, things like that. You'll see what I mean. Oh, lambs! Can I spin you around? That's my view outside my office. I can't help it, they're so cute and fluffy. Oh, these lambs are not conducive to making a YouTube video. But when the Etsy shop is up and running, I'm going to let everybody on the email list know, and they will get to see the collection before it goes live on Etsy. So if you'd like to join the mailing list and be the first to see the collection when it's launched, as well as get a discount for it, yes, there will be a discount, I'll leave the link below and you can sign up for it. And I will not bombard you with rubbish because no one's got time for that. And that's it for today, loves. Thank you very much for watching again, and I will see you next week. Ta-da!